Traveling with kids can be a nightmare. Today we're sharing all our tips and tricks on how we prep for a trip and arrive at our destination without pulling our hair out. So grab your drinks, pop in those earphones, especially if you have little ears around, and let's dive right into episode 66.
That was good, guys.
Cheers! Hello, ladies. So today, Mamas and Mimosas, we're doing something a little different. We're drinking tea, guys. We're not drinking our mimosas. We're drinking tea. And we want to tell you about this new tea that we've been trying.
It's called Salada.
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 You have to say it like in a
Andre. 1, 2, 3. Salada.
They're soothing teas.
Yes.
So they really help you get in a calm state. You know, I'm all about mental health and health, wealth, and everything else. And this tea is really awesome.
Anything to help calm a mother down, right? And the one that I'm drinking today is the chamomile and vanilla, and it is delicious. Which one do you have?
I have the
Cinnamon, sweet cinnamon.
cinnamon and spice, sweet cinnamon and spice.
Cinnamon and spice. What am I doing?
And I'm doing their Indian tea with a little bit of oat milk in it, and it's amazing.
I've never done tea with milk before.
Oh, so good.
It's like an English thing, right? Like
yes,
England?
cream. Yeah.
Really good.
England.
You got to put your pinky up then.
Yeah, my 23andMe said I had a little bit of British, so I'm just.
Here she goes. Here she goes. Okay.
All right, mamas. How was traveling when you were a kid?
Chaotic and unorganized.
Was it?
Yeah.
But you also had like how many kids?
Okay, yeah, so there was 5 of us, and my brother, he was there. He wasn't there all the time, so he was, my oldest brother, he was there like part-time. But I just remember like non-stop fighting. Everything was like last minute, done last minute. My mom was not a very organized, neither one of my parents, I can't blame my mom, but both of my parents, I don't remember them being super organized or having lists or anything like that. It was just kind of like, packed the night before, and then we're out in the morning, you know, and then in the morning it was like everybody running around like a chicken without their head, and it was just chaotic. And then I always remember my parents yelling at us because we weren't doing, you know, like we didn't have our stuff ready, and then
like the scene in Home Alone.
Yes. And then I remember my parents getting in arguments because then my dad would randomly decide to like, I'm gonna clean out the garage, and it was like, we have even 10 minutes.
No.
Yes. So it was just really chaotic and unorganized. That was mine. Stressful, fighting. Yeah.
Did you guys travel by car or plane or both?
Okay, so no, I took my first plane ride when I was 26.
26?
You were already married?
I was already married, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So no, it was always by car.
By car.
Yeah. What about you guys?
For me, I did not travel a lot when I was a kid. Like I
like
never,
road trips or anything?
No,
or?
not really. Nope. I didn't
Camping?
travel a lot. I mean, I feel like the furthest place we went was probably Vegas or something. I remember a trip to Vegas, but for the most part, no, we didn't travel a lot at all.
Okay, but what about even like just going to a birthday party or like a function in the car?
I'm talking about like travel where
Well,
you have
just
like
lights.
Yeah, but still, like, I'm just saying, if you didn't travel, then how was it just going to a birthday party? Like, you know, like, because that's how it was going to a function on the weekend. It was always like, get all the kids together, and everybody's going crazy.
It was just pretty much me. Like, so I did it.
Yeah,
it wasn't like very chaotic. Like, I go to a birthday party, get in the car and go to the birthday party. And I didn't get on my first plane ride wasn't until I was 19, and I got it myself to go to Miami. And
Dang.
that was how I did it.
I wonder if that's why you're so calm, because you never had to, like, experience all the, you know?
Well, I'm
and,
sure
like,
you experienced that now.
well, now, without your kids.
Yeah, that's a different story. But for me, yeah.
And you, Mary?
Traveling as a kid, I never noticed it being chaotic or stressful, but that's because I was the kid, and you know,
That was
my
being chaotic and
parents.
stressful?
Yeah, my parents can probably say otherwise, but I remember traveling a lot, like road trips with my mom and dad. But after my dad passed, it was more, we didn't travel as much with my brother and I and my mom. But I do recall like getting on a plane and going to the Philippines a couple times, like with my mom. But I don't recall it ever being stressful. I mean, it's, you get in the car, you pack your stuff. But that's to me as a kid, you know what I mean?
And then maybe your mom had it organized.
Yeah.
So she just
That's
was like,
true.
okay, man, I
Yeah.
have your stuff, we're going.
Let's go.
I just remember you gotta get your schoolwork, pack the stuff, help me hold the luggage, let's go. And that's all I could do.
Nice.
No,
Nice.
that's not how it
So yours
was
was
at all.
smooth, Janelle's was stressful, and mine was unexistent. How was traveling with your first kid? Was it stressful? Did you over prepare?
Yes.
Let's hear.
I basically took after my parents, like with my first
No.
kid. No, seriously, like, and even it was just ours. Like, I mean, it was just one kid, but still, I would like blame him because he didn't pack something, or he'd blame me for not packing. And I'm like, I thought you had it. And so I was not organized at all. It was very stressful, and I would overpack. I ended up packing everything but the kitchen sink, but yet I would always forget something so important like the formula or the freaking diapers or the wipes, you know, and I'm like, how did I forget that? But I have this big ass playpen that I made sure to bring, you know, for nap time.
But not the stuff.
But not the stuff that I actually need. Yeah, so I was a mess.
And did you travel with most of your trips with your first one by car or plane? How old was he when you took him on his first flight?
Like my family, we've always done camping trips every summer and things like that. So, gosh, he was like a baby when we did our, we started really early. Like maybe he was 6 months when we did our first little camping trip, 8-hour drive. But we never took him on a plane until he was, I want to say he was 4 or 5 when we did the whole plane thing. What do you guys?
Traveling with my first kid, it was stressful, I believe, at the beginning, just because, you know, you're a new mom and you want to make sure you have everything covered. And I think that's a natural thing for traveling with your first kid, like you overpack and whatever. And as you experience it more, you learn you don't need certain things. And so for us, because my family is 4 hours away, I constantly was driving with Landon, and by myself even, because my husband would work. So there were plenty trips where it was just me and him for 4 hours in a car. And I believe he was 2 when we took him on an airplane. We went to Dallas for like a convention thing, and that was stressful because, again, it's like my first child going up in the sky. But, you know, you can only prepare so much, and I'm sure we overpacked for that, but that wasn't as crazy as you think. Like, now that we've done it a few times, we do our camping trips often. It's
second nature.
Yeah.
Right? Same for me. Like, first time traveling with him, I think that I had like way too much stuff. I remember we took a trip and like I had to pay for another luggage because I had way too much stuff that I did not need, but it was my first child.
You brought the whole box of diapers
pretty much.
at the store. Yeah.
And my husband was like, you know they sell diapers where we're going, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, but you never know how I'm just going to take these. So, and I remember being really worried about, I had to talk to his pediatrician because I think his first flight, he was like 3 months, and I was terrified on taking him. And the pediatrician just was like, oh, make sure that when you're going up in the air, you either give him a pacifier or a bottle so it doesn't clog his ears. And then I was like, everyone on this plane is going to hate me if he starts crying. And I was just had all the mommy worries. But he did not do bad at all. And I think because all of my kids started traveling like super early, that they're like super chill on like flights and everything. They're like not a problem. We knock on wood before our next trip. They're like acting a damn fool. But it wasn't so stressful. I think I was more stressed out on people's reaction than anything.
My second son, he hated being in the car. He was a newborn, and he was from all 3 of them, he was the only one that hated. And I remember my sister-in-law got married in Vegas which was 4 hours away.
You're
from
like,
her
I'm not
house.
going.
And no, she had her bachelorette party the night before her wedding. So me and all her girlfriends, we went up there the night before. So I was able to roll with them. And my mom,
you are wrong.
my poor mom had to bring up my newborn. That he was like, he wasn't a newborn. He was like 3 months.
That's still a newborn.
Yeah. And he, like I said, he hated car rides. So she was like, he has been crying. She looked so mad by the time she got there. She's like, he has been crying nonstop. We've stopped like 10 times. And I'm just like, I'm not ready. I'm not ready for this. I'm not ready for you guys to kill my good time. Like, we were having such a great time. Yeah. So yeah, some kids hate the car rides.
No, and I think that makes it way harder when you do get a child that doesn't like the car, because then you're limited to what you can do. You don't want that added stress. You're like, I'm not gonna go. I know a lot of people who don't go to things because of their child not liking the car.
Yeah.
And they'll just avoid the whole situation because
But
they
how
don't
are
even want to try it out.
How is the child ever going to get adjusted? You know, if you just constantly do what the baby wants to do, and it's never uncomfortable. You know, you have to get them acclimated into different things so that you can have a life. You can't stop everything, you know?
Yeah. Test it out. You have to see. I mean, like you said, are you just never going to go anywhere because they don't like the car? Or are you going to figure out something to like get them to, I mean, have a parent sit in the back or something. Like, I feel like there's ways around it. Yeah.
So you were saying that the doctor had told you to give them a pacifier when you're going up into the air?
When you're
or
taking
something
up and landing.
that like keeps their mouth,
Sucking
like even for little kids, like a lollipop, or if you're breastfeeding, put them on your boob when you're going up. Yeah.
Even for my kids now, like even my 4-year-old and my 8, whenever we travel, they know, they're like, oh mom, give me the gum. Like we always travel, when we take off, chew the gum so that their ears are popping. Like, so everyone knows, they're like, as soon as we sit down, they're like, Mom, you forgot to give us the gum.
Hot gum. Okay, so what other tips and tricks do you guys have that you've learned through trial and error?
For trial and error. For me, like the gum is our trick that helps.
Let's break it down from prepping and then the actual traveling.
You know our good old Janelle.
Because I feel like there's so many tips. You know, let's talk about prep first. Like, how do you prep to go on a trip?
You guys really want to know this. It's so horrible.
So the checklist
kind of I have like a list of like things that, depending on the trip and where we're going and everything. So I have a list on like how many outfits they'll need, a change of clothes, our itinerary, like what we'll need for this trip. I have all of the kids' medication. That's another luggage in itself.
Because all their allergies.
If you guys listen to the show, you know my children have allergies to the wall. So they have to I have like a bag just alone with like Benadryl and allergy medicine and EpiPens and you name it. So that's another reason that I like to have a list and prepare so that I don't forget anything. Because Lord forbid we're going on a trip and I forgot someone's EpiPen or something like that. So I kind of have to keep a track of that. So I prep everything. I even kind of prep for my husband a little bit. I try not to, but I do a little bit if I'm being honest. And then,
how far in advance do you create your list?
see, that all depends, because I also have a husband who will tell me that we're going on a trip. He'll tell me today that we're going on a trip in like 2 days. And so sometimes I'm like, what do you mean we're going out of town for 2 weeks? And you just like, so it just depends on the sphere. If it's a trip that we're planning for and we know about, then I'll start like prepping maybe like a week in advance. I don't go too crazy.
And how early? Oh, go ahead.
Because your kids have allergies, or you know, the severe allergies, do you already have a bag that's just there?
Yep, I have a
for
bag for it.
emergencies?
And I also usually have something in my purse. All of the grandparents usually have like, because there's been times where I've actually thought that I had like a Benadryl or something in my purse, and then maybe I used it and I forgot to refill it, and I've been somewhere with the grandparent and they luckily keep them in their purse too, which I don't like to always depend on that, but it's just like, it's comforting that they know that like, oh yeah, these little kids are definitely probably gonna need something on this trip.
And how early do you start packing for a trip?
Probably if I know we're going somewhere ahead of time, probably like a week in advance, because I have to get there. Probably like a week.
Man, people are gonna a trip because sometimes, like me, when I was the first time mom, I would do it the night before or 2 days before. You know, like.
But there's
so everyone's different, but this makes your life easier.
Yeah, but there's also that's if we have a planned trip. But trust me, there's like I mentioned, the trip where my husband will say in 2 days we're leaving, so I'm like putting everything in there the night before. But I learned that when I do it that way, I forget a ton of shit when I do it the night before.
What about you? How do you prep for your trips?
Prepping, it depends. Like Romy said, it depends where you're going and what kind of trip, like if you're going on a plane or whatnot, and how long you're going to be there. For me, if I know we're just going to Fresno, I usually just pack the night before.
Really?
But if I know we're there for like an event and we have like a legit agenda,
like
then
a wedding,
then I have to pack like probably 2 or 3 days ahead. But that's when like I always just go on my phone and note down like, okay, this day we're having the wedding, so I need to I'll put their outfits. So I know for sure, don't forget the dress, don't forget, his tuxedo, whatnot. And I don't pack for my husband, that's his own problem.
But since you don't pack for your own husband, does he forget things and you end up having to go to the store and get stuff?
That's his issue.
Yeah.
Because I'm responsible for me and the kids, like I take that responsibility off him. Like he doesn't have to worry, so he just needs to worry about his
damn self. Yeah.
And if I forget something for the kids, and because I know we're going somewhere that has stores, like I don't worry too much about overpacking like diapers or medicine, because those are, it's not like, my kids don't have allergies, so it's not anything that I absolutely need. Like, I'm not going off the grid, so I know like I can stop at a store or whatever. But I'll obviously pack some, just not like, when I first used to travel with the newborn, like, you overpack.
And I think that makes a difference to their age on how you prep the packing.
And then, like, if I know we're going on an airplane, then I obviously pack, like, even further in advance. But then, like, I have to look for things that are travel friendly. Like, if I need to order something online that won't come in, X amount of time, that's the reason why I start packing ahead of time, because like with the kids when they were so little, we only had the heavy strollers. Like we never had an umbrella stroller, like one that just folds, or the playpen. Like they have travel friendly ones that are like smaller, lighter, so I would pack like those things or prep to buy them ahead of time. But yeah, just kind of depends on where we're going, what we're doing, and always pack snacks. Overload on snacks, for me at least, because my kids are snackers, and that's what'll keep them quiet in the backseat.
I basically do like what you said too, like I make a list, but I've noticed that like if I type the list in like a Google Doc account so that I can reuse it when I need it. Because I learned like I always make these damn lists and then I throw them away and then I have to remake exactly what we need, and I still have 3 kids and we still need all these outfits, and I'm repacking all these things, so I just ended up typing it in.
Google Doc for our people now.
And I just ended up typing it into like a Google Doc. Like one of those spreadsheets, and then I have like the checkbox in there too, so that I don't have to do it, and then I'll print it out and I'll highlight the stuff that
Look at these are different personalities.
So now I highlight the shit that I pack, the stuff that I pack, and then this way I don't cross it off, because when we have to pack back, like to come back home, I want to make sure I don't forget anything. So then when I'm packing everything to come back home, I have my highlighted list and then I cross it off when I pack it, because I've forgotten chargers and crap like that. But that's taken me years, because now I'm already 3 kids in, and so I feel like my list is like, I have like a little template, and then I have a list for camping trips, because we go camping like a couple times a year, and then I have a list for like the cabin, like things that you're like constantly doing, you're gonna do every year. I have like a list for that. Obviously, depending on how many days you're gonna go will determine how much you have to pack, but I do the same thing, like number of outfits, kind of have an idea of the itinerary that we're gonna do, but I don't like to overbook things. Like I like to plan one, like say we're gonna go on family vacation to somewhere new. I would like to plan like, okay, what's our must see, like our must do list, and then try to fill it in like one event per day so that we don't overbook and we leave time for like
vacation.
That spontaneous stuff and vacation, like relaxing. And like once we're there, it's just like no list and we just
now
go
I
with
have
the flow.
a question for you because you have an almost teenager. Do you pack his stuff or do you allow him to pack his own bag?
So I give them the list. I'm like, hey, we need 3 pairs of underwear, 3 pairs of socks, 3 long sleeve shirts, whatever, and so that this way they choose. Yeah, and then the way that we pack it is try to like keep it easy. So we'll pack like, say he needs a sweater for that day, and then he'll leave the sweater out, and then he folds his jeans in there. He folds his underwear that he's gonna wear that day, and the socks and the shirt, and then he like bundles it up into a ball and puts it in the bag. So he has like 3 bundles. So it makes it easy so that they're like, I lost these underwear, were these clean or whatever, and then we bring a dirty laundry bag so that whatever clothes you take off, you put in there, and only the clean clothes go in your bag, and you just grab a bundle and you fully dressed. This way you know that they have enough of everything, you know. I don't pack my husband because there's too many kids.
I do not pack my husband. I just throw in like extra underwear, shirts and stuff in my luggage because 9 times out of 10, and when he packs, I will take a picture. He puts his bag, one time we went somewhere, his luggage was Stater Brothers bag. I'm not lying. He threw all his clothes in the goddamn Stater Brothers bag, and that was his luggage.
So my husband's pretty bad. He always forgets a toothbrush, or he'll always forget sweats or whatever, but I'm like, you're on your own. Yeah. And I'll tell him like, hey, do you want to borrow my list? Like I made a list, you know, and sometimes he'll use it and sometimes he's like, no, I got it. And then he always forgets. So whatever, that's on him. But
they learn from that though.
They end up having to go.
They know their next trip. They're like, oh, I forgot a sweater. And it was
They do. So he's on his own. I don't have to. But what I do make sure to do is, because I'm home with the kids, I'll make sure that all the laundry's done. So at least he does have clean underwear to take on the trip.
Yeah.
You know. So like the Wednesday before, I like to make sure all the laundry's done so that we have all those clean clothes to pack, and I'll pack like maybe 2 days in advance so that I know exactly like what outfits I need to wash, or if I need to go to the store to make last minute, you know, buys or whatever before that. And then I also make sure, like she said, all the snacks and stuff, and then sunblock is a must, bug spray, our phone chargers, car toys. So we don't let the kids use the phones or like the iPads and stuff in the car because they've complained that it had one of them vomited. They give them car sickness. So we're like, we're not even gonna play that game. You're gonna either color or you can play with your little toys, whatever little car that you bring, whatever you choose to bring. It's like usually a toy. They don't have anything digital in the car. So that's what works for us. And then we do bring Ray, my daughter has a portable potty toilet that we had potty trained her on. So we bring that with us so that if we have, because she's still a toddler, so if we have to pull over, the boys can just piss on the side of the road and the girls can go in the little squatty pot, the little potty. And then I got one of those funnels. I don't know if I told you guys about my funnel. Online, I'll have to link it, but it's like a woman's funnel, and it's basically like,
it's called a shiwi, right? The shiwi?
Something like that, yeah. And you could pee, and it's the coolest thing because you could get to feel how it feels to pee with a penis on the side of the road, and not make a mess, splattering everywhere. So I take that bad boy.
But like, where do you go that you can't just go to a McDonald's and use their restroom?
Like if you're on the road in the boonies and you have to pull over, there's no restroom. Like a road trip.
Where are you going?
We do like road trips where there's no bathroom for like a bunch of miles, and I can't hold it, so I will pull over. And the cool thing is you don't have to take your pants all the way down. You don't have to pop a squat. You can just no. It's like you unzip it. You have to unzip the pants. No, I can't do it in the car.
Oh.
No, you have to unzip. You have to be standing, and you basically put it in between your, to cover your crotch, and then it has like a little, not a hose, but like a little funnel, and then you can just like point it wherever you want it to go.
Oh my God.
Because you can aim your
Seriously?
Yeah, you can aim.
Can you spell your name?
If I practice, I'm sure.
Good night.
So, and then so because we can pee like that, we have like wipies. Like we'll bring wipies, and I want to say, what else? Oh yeah, and then we kind of just calculate like to get out of the door on time. We try to leave like as early as we can in the morning, and then we'll like, okay, what time is we plan like, okay, we want to leave by this time, so then we calculate everything backwards. Like, okay, then we need to be, we need to have eaten by this time, and we need to have showered by this time, and we just kind of like move it on backwards. Another thing is I like to clean the house before we leave. Not the day before we leave, but like I should say the day before we leave, I like to clean the house real good, so at least like it's somewhat straightened up.
That's the worst.
While we're leaving, I don't clean up after ourselves, so whatever milk is in the sink or the cereal bowl, like I'll leave it. But anything else, like, or I'll put it in the dishwasher to just run, but I'm not gonna like straighten up after everybody because we gotta get out of the house. But that's pretty much it. Oh, and the kids usually shower the night before, and an easy grab and go breakfast, like a muffin or something, or banana to go out the door, just to try to make my life as easy as possible when we're leaving, so that I'm not stressed and I'm not yelling at my husband. And I try to load the car up the night before, because I don't want to be the woman that I was a couple years, in the beginning when I was chaotic and I was mad at my husband, and so I feel like pre-planning everything has really helped. Yeah,
I think pre-planning and making sure you have activities and things for the kids to go easy.
And if you can, I would suggest like trying to plan your road trips or your travel plans according to like if the kids are sleeping or if that's like a good time for them to nap. Like for me, like I wouldn't leave on a 4-hour trip unless like they're tired, or you know what I mean, like because I don't want them wide awake the entire time.
And with that said too, like flights, all of our flights have been a red eye, because this way I know they're gonna sleep, and for sure they sleep.
We always travel, like if we're leaving somewhere to travel, it's between 2 and 4 in the morning, so everyone's still fucking
Do you guys
sleeping.
ever, when the kids were little, purposely give them like Benadryl to make them take a nap or
I was
anything?
gonna ask you the same. My kids have allergies, so I'm like, your eyes breaking out, girl.
But you know what? The kids Benadryl is non-drowsy. So it's the adult Benadryl. Like I've given them like half or like a little quarter of
that
it.
kid Benadryl is sleepy proof too. It's drowsy, even though it's
well, some of them say non-drowsy.
They make you drowsy.
Do they? Oh, okay. I wasn't gonna risk it, so I gave like a little bit of the adult one and stuffed it in a donut, and they didn't even know. Well, it was my toddler on a flight. It was just stuffed it in a donut.
Thanks so much for hanging out with us. If you want to catch up on our previous episodes, visit mamasmimosas.com, where you'll get access to all of our podcast show notes, our YouTube videos, and our private Facebook group, where we chat with you about each episode topic and host live Q&As with our fave mom tribe. Can't wait to see you there.